Hello to all 650 of you Parliament members. Growing day by day, video by video. Like we've discussed in some of our previous videos, we are doing our best now to really focus in this channel on providing more education and more content around hemp, cannabinoids, crypto, and then some of the other more personal, deeper things we will be, or more out there things we'll be discussing over on Luke's World, which needs to just get up and running. So after giving you that intro, today we are going to be focusing on HHC. And for those of you who have had a chance to try it, excited to hear your comments below. So please let us and other people know what your experience was with this new cannabinoid. And not only that, but we've also did a video a couple months ago and we got to try some HHC and we got to give our feedback on it. So now we've actually had some time to do a little bit more research, and we want to give you all of the information so that you can make the decision for what's right for you. So we're just going to get right into it. So first of all, what is HHC? So HHC is called hexahydrocannabinol, HHC. And while this cannabinoid has been known for a while, it hasn't become commercially available until recently. And the main company who did that was Colorado Chromatography. And we will be having them on the channel most likely in the next couple weeks. And if you have any questions for them, please drop them below. We have a couple of videos asking for questions from the Parliament. So please, if you haven't seen that video, you can comment on this one. So if you do have any questions after going through this, just let us know. So hexahydrocannabinol has been found to be in the seeds as well as pollen of the hemp plant, Cannabis sativa L. It hasn't been really commercially available because no one really needed it, right? And now with the booming market of Delta 8 and all of these other hemp derivatives, HHC has now become, I would say, one of the top cannabinoids right now. Obviously Delta 8 is up there, but I think THC O is up there, but really it's about Delta 8, and my belief is going to be HHC. So HHC is a hydrogenated form of THC. So what does that mean? Well, very basically, it means that you've basically forced hydrogen into the solution that you have. So you're adding hydrogen to the THC molecule, and then that will create HHC. Hydrogenation has been something that has been used for many years. It creates very stable compounds. It's actually used a lot in the food industry for turning oil, like oil to margarine, for instance, is a hydrogenation process. I'm getting good with that. And so how does that happen? Well, it basically, this is the big thing about it, is that it can be relatively dangerous. Main reason for that is due to the fact that this is effectively put in a pressure cooker, and if something bad happens, there will be an explosion. We've all heard of the, what's it called? The big blimp that exploded? Oh, the Hindenburg? Is that it, Sean? Okay, well, there was a big blimp back in the day when we used to use hydrogen for floating around in blimps. There was a huge explosion, and and a lot of people died. And so the whole point is like, don't put hydrogen under pressure and don't put it anywhere near a flame. And if you do, you're going to have a explosion, and there's just no other way to say it. And so you can imagine that you have your oil, you have your catalyst, it all goes into this pressure cooker, you're feeding hydrogen into it, there's heat added along with a catalyst, and you basically leave that under pressure for a certain period of time, and then afterwards it comes out, it has to be refined. And so as you begin to scale this, it begins to get very, very dangerous. And so for us, we will not be making that as of right now until we could possibly do so safely. And we are only going to use the highest quality HHC that's available. And of course, that comes from Colorado chromatography. So just to let you know, there was actually a big explosion that happened in Los Angeles recently. 5 people died, and a whole lab went up, and they were making HHC. And again, it's just unfortunately there was probably a little leak or something, and literally everything went up in flames. And all of the solvents that were in there instantly went and burst into flames. And so obviously something just to be very careful of. Now, the second thing about HHC is that there is a multitude of different isomers. And the primary ones, like I've actually researched, and apparently there's like 10. But right now, the two that we're focused on is it's either the R isomer or the S isomer. The R isomer is the one that's more psychoactive, and the S isomer is not as psychoactive. So when you see a test result, and it is of course always important to actually see a test result, and I'm just going to save you all the hassle now, but there's only one company that can actually get this tested officially, and that is Colorado Chromatography, because they created the standard for it. So a lot of the time when you're looking for new products, especially with HHC, there's no test results. So you don't really know what you're buying. And that's obviously very scary. And so obviously only purchase your products from companies that actually test. Because in the same way, you could get some HHC that wasn't actually the psychoactive one, right? And you just bought a product that really didn't do much for you, and you think, well, wait, all HHC is bad. Well, no, you just didn't get something with test results, and you didn't really know what you were vaping or eating, and you had a poor experience. So I always just advise people to make sure you're looking at the test results. I've had multiple people reach out to our company to sell us HHC. I asked them about test results, and they don't have any. So that is just something to be aware of. And obviously when you're looking for test results, you want to look for the R isomer that's in there. So that's obviously the first good thing about it, is that HHC is very similar to Delta 9 THC. If you were to basically, the more carbon atoms you have on the chain, it basically is more psychoactive. So if you think of like Delta 8, Delta 9, and also HHC, all have 5 carbon chains, whereas THCP has 7. So it's just, it allows us to see that this is definitely a psychoactive compound, and it is more towards Delta 9 than Delta 8. Now, getting into some more of the research here, we have a couple of studies. So in 2002, Wanatab et al. Found that HHC was definitely something that was less potent than Delta 9. However, it produced similar effects. So similar effects being euphoria, relaxation, sleep. When it came to sleep, they actually were able to, they basically had, it was like a 4-fold increase in the level of sleep that people were able to have. So basically people were able to sleep heavier. And when I say people, I don't mean people, I mean mice, right? So I just want to be clear here that there isn't really that many studies on HHC or a lot of these other new cannabinoids. And so you got to do your best to find other studies. So these studies that I'm talking about are primarily animal studies. So obviously, if you're not a mouse, then you might want to think about how this, relates back to you. But all I can say is I'm here to give you the information. You make the decision for what's best for you. So they definitely identified in mice that it had very similar effects to Delta-9. Not only that, it also binds heavily to the CB1 receptor, which again produces more of those psychoactive effects. In 2011, Thapa et al. Also found that HHC, and these are two isomers. So again, it's sort of hard to, HHC should really be, it's almost like Delta-9, Delta-8, Delta-7, Delta-6. There's all of these different deltas, and so different isomers, and it's the same thing with HHC. So there was two isomers that were identified that showed that HHC may inhibit cancer and also tumor growth, which obviously is huge. And then in 2010, Nias et al. Also showed and proved that it binds to the CB1 receptors. So when we're thinking about all this, it's like, well, hey, why would I use this product, right? What use does this have for me? Well, one thing that I would say is that if you're in a state that has no Delta-9 available to it, this is a wonderful replacement. The other thing is that, and I'm not going to say this as an absolute fact, but it has been said that HHC will pass drug tests. The reason that is because HHC doesn't convert into 11-hydroxy-THC. So when you're doing a urine test, they are testing for the metabolite that's excreted. So they're not testing for Delta-9 because it doesn't come out as Delta-9 in your system. Same thing with Delta-8. Both of these show that it converts to 11-hydroxy-THC, and then when it's excreted to your body, that shows, this guy was up to no good, and so you can get in trouble. With HHC, it doesn't convert into 11-hydroxy. So that has at least shown that it could be possible that you would pass a drug test if you were using HHC. One thing to be aware of, though, is that if there was to be any other contaminants in there, like Delta-9, for instance, or Delta-8, then you would fail that test. So it's really just important to have a secure source and make sure that you are making decisions that are good for you. So don't take any extra risks. Apart from that, overall, I would say this is probably one of the most exciting new cannabinoids that have come out. The main reason is due to the fact that it's called HHC. Sounds a lot nicer than THC, right? As ridiculous as that sounds, that the states, it's going to go like this. The states will go, okay, well, oh my God, there's all these other hemp derivatives. We're going to ban all of these deltas. Right, these deltas are what are making our kids sick and turning everyone crazy. We need to get rid of these deltas, and we've seen this in some other states. They banned Delta-10, Delta-8. HHC, though, is just this, little elephant in the room over there. That's like, all the other deltas are like, but what about that guy over there? He's getting people high too. And it's like, huh? No, that's HHC over there. That's not you. You guys over here, you're in serious trouble due to that big letter T that's at the start of your name. And so all of you are getting the boot, and they're like, but what about this one? It's like, nope, no good. So basically, HHC and also CBND is another cannabinoid that is going to be coming down the list, and I will include all of these research papers for you below. Always do your own research, see how something could be best for you. I would just say that I overall enjoy this because it is a little less harsh than Delta-9. It's smoother, than Delta-8. It's smoother, and overall the experience was pretty relaxing. It's like if you were to look at like Delta-9 being here, Delta-8 being here, HHC is like there. So it's like an in between of the two, but it's a little bit more that way. And so my pick would be HHC and Delta 8 are my two favorite cannabinoids, and stay away from Delta 10. I'm sure you've all checked out my previous videos. If you haven't, check those out, because Delta 10 doesn't actually do anything. But that's all, because we're here today to talk about HHC. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.